Hi everyone. Looks like a few people are having problems with understanding the assignment, the day, of course, that the night that the assignment is due. Let's go over this as quickly as we can. And if you still have problems, you're going to have to meet with me during my office hours tomorrow, Monday, April the 8th, via Blackboard Collaborate between 10 p.m. and 11 p.m. All right, so let's go through this. This was explaining, last week you looked at an Excel spreadsheet with Airbnb data. That is the data that you're going to be using from the spreadsheet for the database. This sheet is an example of a type of database that we call a flat file database because of the two-dimensional structure with rows that hold one record each and columns that represent a field or an attribute. This flat file is, it cannot talk to each other. The databases cannot talk to each other. Each row is an Airbnb listing, a record, and columns hold information about neighborhood price, etc. All right. So this is good only if you have a very simple database, but you are going to be working with a more complex database. Again, the second paragraph. However, when you have more complex data, you will find that you need to organize your data into multiple tables. Multiple tables means more than one table. It also means more than two tables that are related. In a relational database, data is split up across several tables based on logical groupings. For Airbnb data, one logical approach is to organize the data into four tables: neighborhoods, listings, hosts, and reviews. All right. So for this assignment, we're using four tables. And if you take a look at, all right, the PowerPoint, which is attached to the assignment, you'll see neighborhoods, hosts, listings, and reviews. All right, which is what you're looking at. All right, the database that I just showed you, the PowerPoint, it's right here. Okay, so you're creating four tables which are already created in the PowerPoint: neighborhoods, listings, hosts, and reviews. Determining what tables to divide data into and how to relate these tables is not always a simple task, but it's been done for you for this assignment because it is important to understand how relational databases work as our modern lives are built on them. How do you get the information from the bank accounts when you go online? Student records at Hostos or the School of Professional Studies or Yale University or whatever. Medical records when you go to the doctor. All right, they're pulling out something from their laptop or from their tablet. Sales are all organized in relational database. Now, use the Airbnb example and put into practice what you have learned about table structures. Remember when you do the table structures in the assignment, that's do all of this. This is your structures. All right? This is what you did, okay, first before you're doing this. Okay? Field types, keys, and relationships. Based on the data in the spreadsheet, you're not creating anything new. I've already said that before in the instructions in week 9. Everything is going to be based on the Excel spreadsheet. So I don't know why people are asking if you have to create something new when I've already stated in the instructions that you are using the information or the data from the Excel spreadsheet. Okay, the suggested tables and fields have been put into a database design document, which I've already shown you right here. Okay, everything is set up for you. What you have to do on this PowerPoint is to determine, is the neighborhood ID when you go to the spreadsheet and see it, is it a number, is it a text, or is it a date? That's what we mean by a field type. Okay, so all of these fields are here for you. Now I have to first name. I'm going to be nice and give you the first one, host ID. We know that ID numbers are numbers, so you're going to type over here number. First name, you know that's going to be text. Last name, text. Telephone numbers, text. Email, text. Okay, and so far, and so forth. Okay, you get this data from the spreadsheet. There is nothing else for you to do. Nowhere else do you get the information. No one is going to create in the space of 3 weeks, that's all you have left for the semester, asking you to create something brand new. This is based on the data that's in the spreadsheet. All right, let's go back to the assignment. Okay, and if you take a look at the PowerPoint, in case you forgot, here is the same instructions, okay, that you have right here in this paragraph. All right, You folks need to take your time and read this, and you can't do it the night the assignment is due. I think you folks realize this, and it's going to get a little bit more complicated as the next weeks unfold. Okay, so that's all you have to do in creating the database design. When you format the primary key, it's in bold. All right, now, what is a primary key and what is the function of the primary key? Okay, so let's take a look. Let me give you an example because all of this is in your online textbook, but that's okay. Let's go through this. So if you look at hosts, you see host ID. Check and see if you see anywhere else host ID. Oh, look at it's right here under listings. So host ID is going to be your primary key. And type that in bold. This is your primary key because it shows up in host ID. Okay? Got it? Wonderful. Let's take a look at listing. Here's listing and listings, listing ID. Is there any place else that you see it? No, not up in host. No, not up in neighborhood. Reviews. Oh, look at that. So listing ID is your primary key. Now, what makes this so important? Because you have 4 tables and you will want to get information from the data on these tables. That's why they have to talk to each other. It's not like Excel spreadsheet. They're not talking to each other. All right. So if you wanted to find out how many listings are in the hosts, well, I'm sorry, how many listings in the reviews that were people discussed. All right, this is where you would get the information from these 2 tables. Okay, if you see, okay, neighborhood ID is primary in neighborhoods, secondary in listings ID. All right, neighborhood, the same thing. See what's there. If there is nothing else, you only have 1 primary key and you only have 1 secondary key. Okay, that's all you have to do with this assignment. Okay, very good. The instructions are here and the same instructions are here. Wonderful. Excellent. Now, make sure you read the instructions. Make sure you read the chapter. Just don't sit down there and say, oh, I got to figure this out. And of course, when you open it up and see this and you say, oh my God, I don't know what to do. Yes, of course you don't know what to do. You have to go line by line. Now, the next thing you have to do is a brainstorming. Nothing more than brainstorming. Okay, so you are going to do this in your team discussion board. All right, you will create a set of questions. You're not answering any questions because you can't answer the questions since you haven't put anything in the database. But you're looking at your file, your Excel spreadsheet. You're looking at the PowerPoint tables that were created, and you say to yourself, now what do I want to get out of these 4 tables in my database? And you're going to analyze the data using both Excel and Access in order to answer your questions. You are not answering the questions. You are creating the questions. And here are some examples right here. If you wanted to open an Airbnb in Staten Island, the Bronx, Manhattan, Brooklyn, Queens, which neighborhoods are the most popular, have the greatest number of reviews per listing? That's a question you might ask. Question you might not ask. I don't know. This is your assignment. This is what you're trying to learn from the database and the spreadsheet. What room types should you consider? How much does each room type earn on average? Are some room types more popular than others? Again, counting by number of reviews as a proxy for occupancy, because you're not going to have the occupancy number. What would you charge and how much might you make? Another example, in a neighborhood that is gentrifying, and we all know what gentrifying is. Some of you may be living in neighborhoods that have been gentrified or are gentrifying. How much of the housing stock does Airbnb occupy? Where are you getting these questions? You're getting them from the Excel spreadsheet, and you're looking at your database, just looking at your database design. All right. What are the costs like compared to a different neighborhood? So if you wanted to say, all right, so what does Staten Island look like in comparison to the Bronx? Or what does Brooklyn look like in comparison to Queens, because they're both on Long Island? How do the owners appear to be marketing this particular neighborhood? For example, does the neighborhood name feature more than the borough or other references to New York? Or how about the description, you cozy? How many apartments, Airbnbs are cozy and quiet within the price range of $100 or something like that. You see what I'm saying? Create your own questions, but you have to look at the spreadsheet. And the last part of the assignment, I'm sorry, I didn't get to download this yet. Okay, the last part of the assignment okay, what are some possible questions that you want to investigate? The very same questions that you had before the sample. So you have, what are some of the possible, what questions does the Airbnb data make you consider? That's all. That's all. Answering what you had asked, the sample questions. All right? That is all you have to do, ladies and gentlemen. That is all you have to do, everyone. All right? Now, again, I'm going to stop this.